we are here to discuss the question first, and then we shall go on to the class of today. So the question was, what causes your intellect to be confused, befuddled, and what should you do about it? You know, before taking any action, sometimes one is confused. We went through the Arjuna Vishada Yoga last time, and we went through a bit of Jnana Yoga, because without that introduction, it would have been difficult for us to understand Karma Yoga. It's not all that easy as we think. So let us now, I'm going to ask Badri. Did you, I thought I'll ask the young fellows first. Did you mull on this question? You can unmute Badri Yogyata.
I think it's, I did mull over a little bit, but it's all about the situation that you never know what's the right answer or not. You get too attached to the results at that point of time, and you kind of think along those lines as to what would happen if I take a wrong decision or whatever, right? So it's again, you're too attached to the results, I think, or the consequences versus taking it.
Yes, it's literally word attachment. So I'm glad, it's obvious that you have thought over it. See, Arjuna was very much attached to the people with whom he was going to battle. And the result, he even said that in the shloka number 6, that I don't even know who's going to win the war. So he was attached even to the result. That is why the basic problem with us, with anyone, is this same simple answer, that we get confused because we are bothered. What will others think? Is this the right thing to do? Have I actually, sometimes we are on a popularity contest. We want that everybody applauds us. So with the result, that we are attached to the result, we are attached to the, I don't say that one should hurt somebody and then act whatever the action might be required to be taken. But what we have to consider is, first, whether the action is dharmic, that means ethical, and whether it is in the interest of others rather than only yourself. And remember, when we are talking about the well-being of all, we are ourselves included in the all. So it does not mean that you should do something that is harmful to you. That is not at all the message of the Gita. And it should be in the general well-being of those concerned, of your community at large. All right. Since we are always fighting against time, I had actually asked one of our senior students, Rama, to prepare an answer. Can you just quickly read what you have written, my girl? Unmute Rama, Yogyata.
Yes. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Attachment and delusion are the main reasons for the intellect to be muddled and confused. Attachment is due to the strong body-mind identification. When one is overly attached to all related to material existence, the mind is swayed by different emotions like sorrow, fear, nervousness, etc. This results in the intellect or buddhi, which is the discerning or discriminating faculty of the mind, becoming clouded. It is unable to make distinction between right and wrong. As was Arjuna's plight, because of muddled intellect, fear overpowered him into thinking that he would incur sin and his whole clan would be destroyed. Delusion is the ignorance of the true self that doesn't change. The ignorant one thinks he is only the body and mind. which is transient and ever changing. This delusion that doesn't know the real from unreal is a cause of all the confusion in the intellect. The first step to get out of this confusion would be to recognize the fact that we are confused and then seek the help of a guru or a wise one by surrendering. We learn this from Arjuna when he seeks help from Sri Krishna by accepting his state of mind and surrendering to him. The defining shloka, number 7, Karpanya doshopahata svabhavah vichamitam sammudacetaha yashreyah syan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyesteham shadimam tvam prapannam. This is by he accepts this state of mind and surrenders. This important shloka number 7 signifies Arjuna's surrender and his approach to the Lord and shows us the way forward from the non-functioning intellect.
Excellent. So you see, that is the ideal answer. And what these two or three ladies here are doing, according to me, they are under training. Teachers training program is also going on simultaneously. So I love to hear from them. And so let's just recap briefly what we learned last time in the introduction. What we learned was what caused the confusion in the mind of Arjuna. We learned what was Sri Krishna's immediate response. Klaibyam, become important, he said. And he said, therefore, that was his immediate response. And we learned that the guru arrives when the student is ready. So when Arjuna was ready and surrendered to Sri Krishna, then Sri Krishna began to explain to him from what? From the beginning, that is, we learned that the body is perishable and changing, whereas the self is not. We learned all sensations, perceptions, and mentations are anitya. Anitya meaning they are temporary and fleeting. We learned why it is not a sin for Arjuna to fight this battle, because it is a dharma yuddha. And he would do a greater harm by desisting from the battle than to undertake it. We learned that the basis of karma yoga is buddhi. We learned the myths around karma yoga, that it is whatever we are doing is karma yoga. It's by no means karma yoga. It may be karma, but it is not karma yoga. And we also learned that only doing karma yoga, however assiduously, does not necessarily lead to liberation. And we also now want to focus on the fact that karma yoga is not by any means easy. This is a myth. Everybody says jnana yoga is too much for me to compute. My brain can't take it, and so on and so forth. And, I don't have faith, so I can't be devoted. Let me do karma yoga for whatever it is. It's karma yoga not only is not easy, but it requires that we have both jnana and bhakti. You cannot do karma without proper knowledge, number one. And to do anything selflessly means that we are respecting all the others as self. And that is devotion. That is not anything other than devotion. So you need both of these, and none of the 3 margas or 4 margas or any number of margas is devoid of any of the other. So it is like an overlap and a synthesis of all of these pathways towards liberation. So today I want you to introspect a bit and wonder, what are you here for? Are you here just to be able to say, well, I heard the talks on karma yoga, it was nice, it was an interactive session, and it's a little different from listening to it from podcasts and stuff like that? No. You are here to study and to practice, and to your ultimate aim is nothing short of liberation. If liberation is your ultimate goal, then by Jove, you will practice Karma Yoga and you will do it well. So remember in your heart that I am here. This body mind is here for what? For knowing the truth. Whatever takes me to the truth. Because I just can't accept that I was born, I've got some sort of an education, I have got some wealth, I produce children, and shortly I'll become old and I will die. Surely, this can't be the end all and be all of our existence, which means that all of you who are here have come with some sort of a prompting from within, which says that no, maybe there's something more to life. Am I missing out? Did I miss out? I mean, come on. We can't go. I often tell my husband that, oh God, I have very little time. So just like Confucius, has said that your second life begins when you know you have only one. So let us also try to understand why we said that karma, just doing karma is not karma yoga. Because you see, karma itself means action. Now, the word karma means action, everybody understands. But action, how even the mixie in the kitchen does a certain action. Is that called karma? Can that be called karma? You see, the chutney was made by the mixie, not by you. It can't be called karma because it is not a conscious being. So that action, which is done by a conscious being, and second point, who thinks he does it. That means he thinks I am the agent of the action. I think that I am having this cup of coffee. That agent has to be there. So that agent of action, that is the karta. And if I am the agent of action, what am I also automatically, as a corollary, I become a bhokta. That means I experience the result of that action. Is that clear? So you are a karta and therefore you become a bhokta. So this is the second reason this is the second meaning of karma. The third meaning is that we should have the free will to do it. No? If we have no free will, if there is a murderer and you tell him, it's all his ignorance, his tamoguna that made him kill. So should he go scot-free? So that is the reason why this karma yoga came into being. Now remember that karma yoga per se has been emphasized by Sri Krishna. The concept has been there from the Vedas. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad talks about it. But karma otherwise was called karma kanda or rituals in the Vedas. Whereas karma yoga, the way it has been defined, elucidated, expounded, is specifically in the Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, we have these three, they are known as, what should a practicing Hindu read? He should read the Upanishads, he should read the Brahma Sutras, and he should read the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is itself considered as an Upanishad. Therefore, these are known as Prasthanatrayi, and that is the foundation of our philosophy. So this, imagine, karma yoga is not easy. Now, for me, I was very fortunate. Sometimes it's nice to intersperse our conversation with personal stories because you then can relate. So when I was a young girl of 21, I was fortunate to be initiated by Baba Muktanand, Swami Muktanand of Ganeshpuri, the disciple of Swami Nityanand. And I happened to get my final MBBS results in the ashram. And I ran to him telling him I had the gold medal in surgery. He patted my back and he said, theory mein to gold medal mila hai. Practical mein jab milega tab main janu. And what is the practical advice he gave me? जो भी तुम्हारे पास आए, रुग्ण नारायण की तरह उसकी सेवा करना. The one who comes to you as a patient, treat him as though he is Narayan himself who has come as a patient. Just imagine Sri Krishna took the bhesh of a patient and came to you. What would you do? What would you not do for him? So he gave me this marvelous tenet to follow. I'm not concerned with the result because I am following Karma Yoga. So whether I passed or failed or got a gold medal is his business, not mine. That's what I told myself while I was thinking of this. And I was thinking, boy, did I practice it or not? I said, forget it. Don't bother with any of that. So now the first shloka number 47, which we briefly touched last time. And that is, I hope all of you have your Gita books, because, I would like you to follow it so that you can focus better, you can pay better attention. So, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbuhu ma te sangostva karmani. Do not be attached to inaction. We have spoken a great deal about the fact that we should not be, of course, it will keep coming again and again, be attached to the fruit of the action, but we must at the same time not get attached to inaction, because it is very easy to take it's written in the Shastras, don't be attached to the fruit. I don't need any, I'm not going to have any attachment, so I better not do anything. It doesn't work like that. And the second unfortunate, a lot of times my students in the hospital would ask me, ma'am, पण रिझल्टला त्यासाठी आपण नाही केलं तर कसा अभ्यास करणार? How can we study for if we don't have the result in view that we are going to pass our DNB exam or MD or MS exam? The point is, the aim is not to be given up. Arjuna's aim has to be to protect his army and to defeat the Kauravas' army. But whether it happens or not, that is not in his hand, and he should not be attached to the result thereof. And that is what is meant by this most important statement, that ma karma phaleshu kadachana. That is, you do not get attached to the fruit thereof. So let's go to the next verse. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Arjuna, perform your duties established in yoga, renouncing attachment, and be even-minded in success and failure. Evenness of mind is called yoga. See, yoga, the word yoga comes from the verb root yuja, to join. And what does yoga mean? Yoga has several meanings. Yoga even means chapter. So even the chapter 2 is called Sankhya Yoga, chapter 3 is called Karma Yoga, and so on. So, but in its meaning here and where we are going is the union with the divine. Actually, there is no two. That means I am going to unite with the divine. But the fact is that this ignorance that I am separate from the divine will go. And thereby you will be then one with the divine. So here it is saying that is yoga, if you will have a balanced or an evenness of mind. So in this particular verse, Sri Krishna is emphasizing on the following words. Sangam tyaktva, that is, renounce your attachment. Being attached is the cause of imbalance. So do your work, kuru karmani, how after yoga, stha means being established in yoga, and by giving up the attachment. Siddha, to what? Siddha, asiddha, to failure or to success. And when you are able to have an equipoised mind, samo kurutva, samo bhutva, samatvam yoga, that means you are in the state of yoga. When you have been able to fine tune and balance your mind between success and failure, you accept them perfectly, exactly how it is, and you are not attached to that, whether you're succeeding or failing, and you are doing your ethical duty or whatever action, having renounced the attachment, then you are doing yoga. So the following points are the highlights of this particular verse. First, learn the beauty and grandeur of non-attachment. It really is very beautiful. When I dwell on it, suddenly I feel a sensation of expansion in the region of my heart. How can you say non-attachment is beautiful and grand? Are you joking, Shirin? To me, attachment and love and embracing, that is more grand and beautiful rather than non-attached and having no care about whether I pass or fail. Come on. Are you joking? No, I'm serious. Why am I serious? Because, see, there is a difference between love and attachment. Love does not expect the result of its expression. The flower blooms. It does not expect to be said, oh, wow, you bloomed. Although if you tell it, no, I have had this experience. I have a mogra plant in my home over here. She used to flower sometimes. But in the recent times, she had kind of given up. I went, I embraced her, and I told her, come on, yaar, this is your season. You have to blossom. And suddenly, within a day or two, so many little buds had sprouted. So they also respond because they are living beings. But I wasn't attached to the result of whether she's going to respond or not. It was a genuine love for that plant. So that is what is love, not the attachment that, oh, even though I told her and all and she didn't blossom. That is attachment. So isn't love grand and beautiful as compared to the attachment to the object that you want? Because attachment means possession, and possession is ugly. You must let everything, let go is the point. So first, number one, learn the beauty and grandeur of non-attachment. Number two, renounce the attachment and establish yourself in even-mindedness. Because if you have renounced that attachment, whether this is going to reciprocate or not, automatically you become even-minded. And unite the buddhi with the manas. Now, this is something I wanted to discuss a little bit. You see, we have got these bahya currents and anta current. Current means instrument. Bahya current are these the senses, the five jnanendriyas, cognitive senses, and five karmendriyas, the active senses. What are they? So cognitive senses are your sense of touch, smell, sight, hearing, and taste. And what are those of action? That is speaking, number one, walking, grasping, and procreation and excretion. So these are the active senses, and these are known as the outer senses of Bahya Karna. Now, what is your inner sense? The inner sense is your mind in the general terms, inverted commas, because it comprises of four parts. What are they? And that is that Man, Chitta, Buddhi, and Ahankar. It's so beautiful. Our science is so beautiful and so complete. The Ahankar is the sense of I-ness, I, the body mind, I, the personality. Manas is that part of the mind which collects the data from the senses. It is collecting the data, collating. Now I am talking, I am seeing, I am hearing. All of these things are being done. And what is it that is synthesizing the data and giving the buddhi, the decision making part of the mind, the intellect, to say, oh, I like this, let me continue to listen. Or I don't like this, let's log off here. It's a waste of time. So the manas has presented this data to the intellect, and the intellect has done the decision making as to what the action should be. So when the manas, sometimes what happens, this manas gets swayed. It is always in doubt. I like this or I don't like it. I like it or I don't like it. And you tell, the intellect tells it, no, 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 you must like it. What do you like? What must you like? Getting up early, doing meditation, doing your sadhana. And the manas says, no, I didn't sign up for it. So there is a huge conflict. And when that manas and buddhi can be aligned, that is when you can attain equipoise. Otherwise, you will not always be tilting to one side or the other, and you will not be able to understand the grandeur of non-attachment. When the action is done for the sake of the action, because you know it's the right action, and you are immersed in that action because you're not bothered with the future, then you are also living in the present. So even time tends to lose its hold on you. Otherwise, you are a slave of the of time. We are all, in some way or the other, slaves of time. Therefore, these are the various points that this particular shloka will bring home to you. Then the next 49 is Durena Yavaram Karma Buddhi Yogad Dhananjaya Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha Krupanaha Phalahetavaha. Here I will tell you a story so that we don't so that we can relax a bit and not take everything so seriously, not to worry. So this is, the translation is, action with a selfish motive is far inferior to this yoga in the form of equanimity. Do seek refuge in this equipoise of mind, Arjuna, for poor and wretched are those who are the cause in making their actions bear fruit. If you recall, the shloka that Rama quoted was the seventh shloka, where even Arjuna says, Karpanya dosho bhavata svabhava. I have become deluded and miserly in the word Krupana actually means miser. But the fact is, miser in what? In narrow-minded. Is where his thinking is not able to expand, to embrace what true knowledge should be. So, in the ancient times, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this is the story that is told. The king Janaka, he was very fond of having these great meetings of all the wise people, and he put out 1,000 cows, all laden with gold and decorated beautifully, and said to the assembly that the one amongst you who is a Brahma Vetta, that is, who knows Brahma, may take these cows. So there were about 100 people there, and none of them seemed to be confident enough to take the cows towards their own ashrams. But Yajnavalkya, who was the great sage, he was he got up and told his disciples that please take the cows. So the Brahmins, the other Brahmins got very angry. They said, what? Do you claim to know Brahman? So he said, with all due respect to all of the Brahmans in you, I am willing to answer any question that you would want to put to me, such that you feel that I know Brahman. And nobody had any questions even. But Gargi, who was a woman sage, she got up and she asked him, who is a Krupana? So can you imagine the importance of this word, Krupana? And his answer was that the one who does not attain to Brahman in this lifetime is a Krupana. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter number, I think it's 13 or 15, I'm not quite sure. But one of the verses says, the one who is not trying or does not attain self-realization is indeed committing suicide. So you can imagine the importance of what Sri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. He says that this Krupana attitude, this attitude must be given up. So will this work? So whenever you're doing an action. Now suppose you are, let's take the example of Badri. He probably is working to earn a livelihood for his family. Is that all you're doing, Badri? So you have to ask yourself, will this action of mine lead to self-realization? Certainly, it will lead to chitta shuddhi. What do we suffer from? Chitta mala. That is impurities of the mind. And what does karma yoga do? It takes you to chitta shuddhi. Now, how can I spiritualize my daily activities is the point. Of course, getting a paycheck at the end of your work is a byproduct. But your action is action with the aim of wanting to realize the self. Every action should be done with that aim in view. So, how can this buddhi be purified? The first element is samatvam. That means equipoised mind. Second element is swadharma. You are doing what you are qualified to do and what at your ashrama of life is. You know, there are 4 ashramas in life and there are 4 varnas of in a classification of the categories of people in the ancient times. So the 4 varna ashramas are that the first 25 years you have to learn and study and educate what is dharma. Because there are 4 purusharthas as well. Dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So you educate yourself in the first 25 years. Hopefully you live 100 years. So the next 25 years is towards kama and artha. That means you have desires and therefore you must have wealth to fulfill those desires. So that is between 25 and 50. After 50 is vanaprastha, where you should learn to get detached and renounce many things, possessions, and your attitude of possessing your children. Lots of people suffer from that attitude. Oh, my child doesn't listen to me. Now they've become big. They don't know how to bring up their children. Where are you going? Is that going to take you to moksha? Ask yourself. Ask yourself, any such thought arises for those who are in that stage. Is it going to lead me to moksha? No. Then debit. Cancel that thought completely. So the action will accordingly be. So in the vanaprastha, you must have the attitude of renunciation, and in sannyasa ashram, you should renounce. So you have to do your swadharma according to your age, according to the ashram that you are in. The third, how do you clean your buddhi, is samarpan. That, okay, whatever comes my way, I accept, and I also humbly surrender all of my desires, my actions, and the fruits of their actions to Sri Krishna himself, or whoever is your favorite deity. So my favorite deity is Shiva, and I have another friend whose favorite deity is also Shiva. When she's listening to Bhagavad Gita and she says, I am totally confused. Should it be Sri Krishna or should it be? So tell me, is there any reason to be confused? Not at all, because they are all just the one different aspects of the same reality. So you must do samarpan. Then fourth, asangha. What is asangha? What are we doing now? We are having a satsang. We are having a good company. So you must renounce, you should become asangha. Do not be attached. Do not be attached to the wrong company. Because then you will not know what to do. Then your mind is going to be befuddled completely. So you should be asangha. And finally, you should have a prasada buddhi. That whatever comes my way is the prasad from the Lord. Why is it prasad? Because I offered everything to him. So he will give me something in return automatically. And that is the prasada buddhi. So if you have these 5 aspects within your mind, when you undertake any action, you will be walking the path of karma yoga. Now the shloka number 51. And karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchantyanan anamayam. Anamayam. What does anamayam mean? Devoid of suffering. How will I become devoid of suffering? You will reach padam, that is, you will reach that level of being devoid of suffering. How? You will go to that stage by giving up the fruits of actions. And let's read the translation so it will be easier for everyone. 51. I like this shloka. For wise men, possessing an equipoised mind, renouncing the fruit of actions and freed from the shackles of birth and attain the blissful supreme state. No, is that the one I'm reading? Okay, so they go to that blissful supreme state if these wise people have an equipoised mind and they have renounced the fruit of their actions. So then they become free from birth and death. Now, what are the secrets of karma yoga? I don't know why I selected this particular one, but there must be a reason which I'm tending to forget. But it is probably because he has said that you have to become devoid of suffering. That is, the one who goes beyond birth is automatically devoid of suffering. But the shloka before this, that is 50, it says that endowed with equanimity, one sheds in this life both good and evil. Therefore, strive for the practice of this yoga of equanimity. Skill in action lies in the practice of this yoga. Now here Shankara, this Kaushalam, Yoga Karma Su Kaushalam. And this Yoga Karma Su Kaushalam is what the wise people are practicing. That means through their action, they are practicing yoga. I explained to you what yoga meant. And when they do that, they go beyond the suffering and they go beyond the bondage of life and death. Vinirmuktaha, they become free of janma and therefore free of anamayam. that is suffering. So he's telling, Sri Krishna is continuing to tell us the secrets of Karma Yoga. First number is always renounce the result, then right action can be done against even heavy odds. This is something that is difficult for us to compute. But when the aim is self-realization, then the action will be undertaken. You know, this is, I would like to show you this one book. Maybe you all should buy it. There are 3 volumes by Eknath Ishwaran. Can you read it? Bhagavad Gita in Daily Life. It is for daily living. It is one, I would recommend you buy it. And the second book is Perennial Psychology of the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, Perennial Psychology of the Bhagavad Gita is Swami Ram. And that is the primary book. That is my textbook for studying. But this is a reference book. So here he says that even if the odds are heavy, if your aim is correct, I want to give you an example of Ishwaran, Eknath Ishwaran. Eknath Ishwaran was a Fulbright scholar and had gone to teach English in California, some university. And then he was already an initiate and he was self-realized and he wanted to start this blue mountain called Nilgiris. He's from the Nilgiris, South India. And he wanted to start a society. Against all odds, he knew he was doing the right thing. He has an American wife. And the first day when he announced that he was going to take in the university meditation classes and so on, and he had prepared a hall and he had spent money and all of that. And do you know how many people were there? He and his wife and the guy who was looking after the hall. But nothing dissuaded him from continuing, and it's such a big movement today. Such a big movement. So that is what it does. The courage to do the right action and to do it for the well-being of the world at large. You will find that the power will come. So do not allow the ego to get caught in attachment to the result. You know, sometimes because I can give an example of my own life also. And that is that I wanted to walk along the river Ganga. And I had a dear friend, and I had my dear husband, and I had another friend. And I had all asked her that, will you walk with me? And oh yes, of course, we'll walk with you. And when we decided actually to do the Ganga Yatra, I decided, so-called I decided, when it was to happen, they dropped me like a hot potato. But I didn't drop the idea. And it happened and it was a wonderful event. So what I want to say is that do not worry about the results and don't erect walls of failure before you start on the action itself. So that is what you have to answer yourself, that I am not going to be daunted because I think this project will fail. If it is in the interest of the many, if it is the right action and ethical action, go ahead and do it. So never accept an unjust situation. This is something that we tend to do. Are jaane do na yaar, jaane do na yaar. And here also we don't know how to resist an unjust situation. So all types of action, everything as we go ahead, we will be learning. So you should lose the fear of defeat. That is the message of this verse. Now, the last shloka that I want to today discuss, because I think we are going to run short of time soon, is this shloka number 58. You know, Arjuna, like us, felt that what the hell this Sri Krishna is telling me. First of all, that we are not perishable. First he tells me this gyan, all this gyan that nobody's going to die and all of that. And then he tells me I must do this act in this way and all. It must be a damn dull and boring situation. So he asks that this one who knows that he is not the body and he is, what does he do? I mean, how does he behave? Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. How does he talk? How does he walk? He asks simple questions like that. And Sri Krishna is answering. There are 20 shlokas on that. But that is not the topic of our talks, and we'll never finish otherwise. So I have selected only one particular shloka, which explains how the action should be done. And that is this number 58. So you can go to 58 shloka, number 58. Yada samharate chayam Kurmongani sarvashaha indriyarthebhyah tasya prajna pratisthita. What does it mean? When like a tortoise that draws in its limbs from all directions, he withdraws all his senses from the sense objects. His mind becomes steady. So what is it that deludes us? Our desires and sense objects. And Swami Ram has explained this beautifully. He's really unbeatable in his insights and his wisdom, which he shares. So he says that, we undergo two types of activity: the evolutionary activity and the involutionary activity. And the evolutionary activity is going towards the sense objects. That means centripetal and centrifugal might be a better way of explaining. So when we are going centrifugal, we are going towards the periphery of our samsara and our existence. And when we are trying to go inwards, it is the inward pull or involution that is happening. Now this tortoise, what does he do? When he senses danger, he takes all his limbs, including his head, into the shell and protects himself. So when the evolutionary pull or the centrifugal pull is too powerful, what you should do is to withdraw from those senses and try to enter a space that is safe from these influences. What will help that? Satsang will help that. So the truth of what is indicated, and then suddenly it all falls in place. So that's what I have understood. He says senses never give us the true experience of the world. It is always incomplete, for they are limited. Even your hearing is limited. You hear only a certain frequency. You can see only a certain wavelength. Everything is limited. So what are you saying? What are you thinking yourself as to be so very, you feel that you have all the data to make any decision? No, you don't really. Therefore, what we should do is to withdraw from at least the centrifugal forces, get reflective, meditative, and then we would know what is the right action towards what? Towards self-realization. So without this withdrawal and meditative silence, the unknown part of life cannot be revealed to the human being. This is the glorious, he calls it, the missing half, which makes life complete and perfect. So I think this is a good place to stop today. And there's a lot to chew. A small question will come to you on the WhatsApp group. Please, once again, mull over it. And we shall now Is there any doubt? Is there any question? Otherwise, we will close.
I have a question, but that's not
Yeah.
related to this chapter. It's related to something that you just mentioned about Shiva being your favorite
Same as
god. But yeah. And I'm of the same opinion that all gods are one. There is one mighty force, whatever we call them by different names. Maybe it's for a different. Feel free to probably have a separate session on that or whatever. But chapter 9, verse 25 in the Bhagavad Gita talks about demigods, people who worship demigods, reach demigods, and things like that. So that's where I have a lot of confusion. So maybe we can do it some other time also.
yes, we will. We will. We certainly will.
Okay.
The demigod, there's a hierarchy in the cosmos according to Indian philosophy. And Shiva is not considered a demigod. Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma are the self-realized gods. These demigods are, Chandeshwari and so many devis and devas, they are what lot of people appeal to, and they're granted. Their wishes are granted by them because they have limited powers, but they are not self-realized. So even the gods and goddesses, they want to come as a human, because then only can they attain to the ultimate. That is the understanding. But all of this, once again, is on faith and on the belief of your system that you want to follow. Even without believing in God, Swami Ram has written a book, Self-Enlightenment Without God. So you can get enlightened. There's no problem about that. So it's nice. You see, the mind requires entertainment. Mind cannot be only meditative. So it likes to look at one god and the other god and the goddess, how beautiful she is. And you can concentrate on the form of that goddess, Bhagwati or Lakshmi or any such aspect of the divine. Divinity is infinite. So there are infinite aspects to it. Now, why Shiva is my favorite deity is because of the fact that he lives on Mount Kailash, according to the stories. I haven't, but I felt I met him. I went to Mount Kailash. I mean, it's all us, because we too are divine. We have that same force within us. It is just that one force. So you may create your own reality. You create all your own reality and you get there. But make sure that you want to get over suffering. And in this life, you have to accept कि दुख है. It may not be happening to you right now, but जन्म हुआ तो दुख है. और दुख का निवारण कैसे हो, उसकी तरफ हम जाएंगे. ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. तन्मे मनः शिवसङ्कल्पमस्तु. तन्मे मनः शिवसङ्कल्पमस्तु. तन्मे मनः शिवसङ्कल्पमस्तु. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste and thank you everyone. Thank you very much.